The phylum Echinodermata. As well, we'll go with the hierarchy first, that where Echinodermata belongs to. Then after, we'll continue with the characteristic features. Some characters will get from because of knowing the hierarchy of that Echinodermata in the kingdom, Animalia, and subkingdom Eumetazoa, grade Bilateria or Triploblastica, grade Bilateria or Triploblastica. Next, division, here it is, deuterostomia. Then subdivision, it belongs to Enterocoelomata. Subdivision, Enterocoelomata. Phylum itself, Echinodermata. Now I think I can ask questions from here. That type of symmetry here. What kind of symmetry can be expected here because it belongs to the grade bilateria? What kind of symmetry can be expected?
Bilateral symmetry.
Bilateral symmetry.
Very good. Bilateral symmetry. But most of these organisms are having pentaradial symmetry that we discussed in the symmetry also. Pentaradial symmetry. That actually they have bilateral symmetry, but during the process of the development, the larval form is having that symmetry. What we said about bilateral symmetry, that larval form is having that symmetry. This symmetry, bilateral symmetry. When they're becoming adult, that adult exhibiting pentaradial symmetry. So what we can say, that's so-called bilateral symmetry because it belongs to the great bilateria, that is in only during larval stages. That can be seen only during larval stages. So when it become adult, that exhibit pentaradial symmetry. So in adult stages, adult is exhibiting pentaradial symmetry. That is the correction we need to make over. The remaining are as usual. That means number of germ layers are three germ layers. Okay, type of organization,
Organ system, grade of organization.
system grade of organization, and the fate of blastopore. Now comes
Anus.
Anus.
fate of blastopore in Deuterostomia is anus. Type of cleavage.
Radial and indeterminate cleavage.
Radial and indeterminate type of cleavage. Radial and indeterminate type of cleavage is present. Wait. Type of cleavage is radial and indeterminate type of cleavage. Type of embryo,
Regulative embryo.
regulative embryo. That everything will change because now it belongs to the deuterostomia. Till the time Annelida, Arthropoda, mollusca, we said division protostomia. There the spiral and determinate. There mosaic. Now here radial and determinate type of cleavage with regulative embryo. Type of embryo is regulative embryo. Type of body cavity. Type of body cavity. So what type of body cavity is here? That enterocoelom. That means true body cavity. True body cavity or secondary body cavity can be seen over. True body cavity or secondary body cavity. But how it is formed, that is important. How it is formed? From the pouches of Archaea. From the pouches of Argentina. So that is enterocoelomate condition from the pouches of Argentina. Enterocoelomate condition, we can say. Okay. So true body cavity or secondary body cavity, which a body cavity formed from the pouches of Argentina. So that we have to understand. So that's it about the basic features of Echinodermata. That all these characteristic features we already learned because of Kingdom Animalia series. Now let's start the general characters and classification of Echinodermata. That Echinodermata is classified into Echinodermata. The phylum Echinodermata is classified into Subphylum Pelmatozoa, subphylum Eleutherozoa. There are two subphylums here: subphylum Pelmatozoa and subphylum Eleutherozoa. Subphylum Pelmatozoa and subphylum Eleutherozoa. Then subphylum Eleutherozoa is having four classes in Eleutherozoa. There are four classes in Eleutherozoa: Asteroidea, Ophiroidea, Echinoidea, Asteroidea, Ophiroidea, Echinoidea, and Holothuriidea. Echinoidea and Holothuriidea. Four classes are there. So, Asteroidea, Ophiroidea, Echinoidea, Holothuriidea. Pelmatozoa is having only one class, that is Crinoidea. The class of Pelmatozoa is Crinoidea. So, subphylum Pelmatozoa and subphylum Eleutherozoa. Echinodermata classified into subphylum Pelmatozoa and subphylum Eleutherozoa. Then the class wise, we have only one class there. That in case of here it is subphylum, that to be remembered. Subphylum, both are subphylum, Pelmatozoa and Eleutherozoa. Here only one class. That class is Crinoidea. Then there are four classes here. That class Asteroidea, class Ophiroidea, class Echinoidea, class Holothuriidea. Okay, so along with the general characters, we run this also. So that's why we'll frame it. We'll frame that this particular characteristic features in the classes will frame. And there is some rhythm here. That with that rhythm, when we catch the rhythm in Echinodermata, that it will be easy for us to remember the characteristics. That's why, along with the particular general characters, I'll go through this also. Crinoidea, Asteroidea, Ophiroidea, Echinoidea, and Holothuriidea. Let me write Echinoidea, then Holothuriidea. So need to fill these particular columns. Holothuriidea. Okay. So let's get back. Get back. Echinodermata. So what is Echinodermata? Echinodermata means echinus, that means spine. Echinus, that means spine. Derm, that means skin. Echinodermata, that means the spiny skin. Echino, spine. Derm, skin. So the why the name given like so, that the skin is having the spines. So spiny skin is present here. That in the name Echinodermata, the spiny skin. So what is the speciality? The speciality we are seeing, these are the deuterostome, non-cardate deuterostomes. Only two non-cardate deuterostomes are there. Who are they? Echinodermata and hemicardata. That's what we have shown here. That non-cardate deuterostomians. The till mollusca, that what we said, protostomia, platyhelminthes to mollusca. So these are the non-cardate deuterostomes. And the body cavity, enterocoelomate condition is seen over. Spiral, the determinate up to mollusca, now radial indeterminate type of cleavage. Regulative embryo. So likewise, the characteristic features we are seeing now. The habit and habitat onwards will start here. Habit and habitat. Before we enter into all these general characters, first of all, that we should get an idea what it is exactly. That means we'll take a model example here, that I am taking starfish. Echinoderms include starfish in class Asteroidea. So I am showing here the starfish to you. That 5 arms are present in the starfish. The mouth in the center. This is mouth. Mouth is there in the center, and this is oral surface. So when we see on aboral surface, what I mean on the second side, ventral surface. Okay, so aboral surface. Aboral surface include that anus as usual. Along with that, there is a special structure called madreporite is present. Madreporite. Anus is there. Along with that, and that madreporite is present. Okay, so these madreporide, that on ventral side, the madreporide opens into ambulacral canals. That there are 5 ambulacral canals which are running towards the 5 arms. They opens into the ambulacral canals. Okay. Then each canal which is there in each arm contain tube feet like this. The tube feet are present. So tube feet are there. These are all tube feet. Ambulacral canal and tube feet. So if you take one tube feet, it will be like this. The tube feet. It contains sucker also. Not in all, but a general character. Tube feet contain sucker. Okay, so what is this? This is madreporide. Madreporide. Just namesake that you need to remember that particular that names. That's all. Okay, so individual characteristic features are not required. Madreporide. So what is madreporide? The opening on the ventral side. Where it opens? It opens into madreporide opens into the special kind of canals we say ambulacral canals. Ambulacral canals. Okay. So what is this then? Anus. So anus. Let me label all of this. Then after I'll say what it is exactly. This is mouth. And so what I'm showing here, that is oral surface. Oral surface contain mouth. Aboral surface. Aboral surface contain anus and also the madreporide. The madreporide opens into ambulacral canals. And these ambulacral canals, the from the madreporide, wait. From the madreporide, oh God. So this is the opening. So from the madreporide, water enters into ambulacral canals like this. Water enters into the ambulacral canals. So, and from there, that on ventral side itself, there is a groove through which the water will comes out. Okay, so and either sides of the ambulacral grooves, you'll find tube feet also. Okay, we'll do one thing. I'll show you that that particular diagram. So, ambulacral water vascular system. We are talking about a special kind of system, which we say ambulacral water vascular system. So, this ambulacral water vascular system is a unique feature of class Echinodermata. Do you remember that particular canal system we have seen in case of phylum Porifera? In the same way, that ambulacral water vascular system that we have to talk about ambulacral water vascular. So the overview of the ambulacral water vascular system, there you can see that there is a madreporide. Madreporide you can see. From the madreporide, water enters and enters into that ambulacral canals. There is a ring canal also. That from the ring canal that reaches into the 5 canals, and then after that this ambulacral canal on either side, it is having so many tube feet. There are so many tube feet are present. Okay, so then water will come from here like this, that through the madreporide and enters into the ambulacral canals and will come out through ambulacral groove. Will come out through the ambulacral groove. So that groove I will show you. But this is the ambulacral water vascular system. Here we are talking about the tube feet, isn't it? A tube feet. That a tube feet contain sucker. Like these, the tube feet, there are so many. These tube feet are containing sucker. Only names to be remembered over. When it is asked over ambulacral water vascular system, immediately you should answer. What ambulacral water vascular system belongs to? That Echinodermata, should say like that. Echinodermata, ambulacral water vascular system, Echinodermata. And here, this is the diagram. Okay, so the dorsal side, that aboral, that oral side, we can say it as dorsal side. That mouth is present on the oral side. Oral surface contain mouth, and you can see the tube feet also here. So madreporide. Okay, so this is the diagram, and there is an opening, we can see that what opening, that ambulacral grooves, we can say ambulacral grooves are present. Okay, so that ambulacral grooves, through the ambulacral grooves, that water will come out. Okay, so what we learned, let me take you revise what we learned here. So in this area, one mouth, one thing, mouth. Okay, next anus, their positions we learned. Next, and then I said over that opening called madreporite. Madreporite. There is an opening called madreporite. Next, just talking about ambulacral grooves. Outside, inside there are canals. Outside, their opening will be in the form of grooves. When you see that particular starfish, when on each arm you'll find a groove through which the water will come out. So we call it as ambulacral grooves. Okay, so that ambulacral grooves and tube feet. Tube feet with or without suckers. Okay, tube feet with or without suckers. These are the things we have seen. Mouth, anus, madreporite, ambulacral grooves, tube feet. That these structures, we have to discuss about these structures. Okay, that means in where everywhere. That means in all the classes, how the mouth is, where the mouth is located, on oral side or a boral side, where the anus is located, on oral side or a boral side. Likewise, we need to discuss everything. And some more issues are there. Echinodermata, we said, isn't it? Echinodermata. What is echinodermata? Echino means spine. Derm means skin. Echinodermata, which means the spiny skin. Okay, so echino, spiny, derm, skin. So that spines are said to be the unique characteristic feature here. Spine. So these particular spines on their base, that means every spine that they have a base that we call acicle. This is spine and that is acicle. So these two things, spine and acicle. So I'm labeling this. This is spine and this is acicle. Okay, so acicle and spine. So what are these acicles and spine? Acicles is the base plate, we can say, and the spine, as we said, the characteristic feature of phylum Echinodermata. Okay, then in some, this particular spine, this spine is getting modified into the two-jawed or a three-jawed structure we call pedicellarium. Pedicellarium. In some, it will be three-jawed, spine modified into either two-jawed or three-jawed pedicellarium. Okay, so two-jawed pedicellarium, that is in Asteroidea. Three-jawed pedicellarium in Echinoidea. Okay, then acicle. In some, all these acicle, that means like this, they are present spines and acicle, spine and acicle. And some I said over, spines are modified into two-jawed or three-jawed pedicellarium. In that, these acicles in some is modified and form test or corona or case. Test or corona or case, we can say that particular characteristic feature belongs to Echinodermata. Okay, so without entering general characters, why I'm saying here Echinodermata is comparatively different. That these words are visualization of these words are important for us. Visualization of these words. What we visualize: mouth, anus, madreporite, ambulacral groove, tube feet. Now some more I introduce pedicellarium. Pedicellarium. Okay, so some more I introduce pedicellarium. Next, as I said to you that that acicles modified into test or corona case. So along with the respiratory structure, these are the items we need to discuss in classification. That for that I am just showing. All right. Phylum wise, you have to remember that Echinodermata, general characters of Echinodermata. We'll go through now, but when we go to the classification, these are the three things to be filled over. Okay, these are the things to be filled over. Okay, then let's talk about general characters here. I want as white paper. Sure. As usual, that same locomotion, nutrition, digestion. Likewise, we'll go as usual from the beginning. That habit and habitat. Let me go with habit and habitat. First characteristic feature we are seeing habit and habitat. So what we said about this particular, all are marine, exclusively marine. These organisms are exclusively marine in habitat, free living animals, no doubt about that. No parasites we can expect. And the features we already said, pentamerous radial symmetry instead of bilateral symmetry, where bilateral symmetry can be expected only in the larval stages, organ system grade of organization, that fate of Blastoporidanus, type of cleavage is radial, indeterminate type of embryo, that regulative embryo, all we are discussed, then locomotion. Next, we'll go with locomotion. Ambulacral water vascular system is helpful for the locomotion. Ambulacral water vascular system. Okay, what is ambulacral water vascular system? Water enters to the madreporoid, enters into the canals, will come out through the ambulacral grooves which are present on the arms. That what you say that as ambulacral water vascular system, and this ambulacral water vascular system useful for locomotion. We can say ambulacral water vascular system or ambulacral system is which is derived from the coelom. It is helpful for locomotion. Okay, next, nutrition. How do they collect the food material? That we have to say holozoic nutrition as usual, like all the other holozoic. That the how do they collect the food material? That we have to see. That means ambulacral water vascular system. That is helpful for the capture of food material. Umbilical water vascular system, when water is going from the body, that capture of food material and transport of the food material then is possible. Next, digestion. Digestive system, we have to talk about digestive system. Okay, so digestive system, alimentary canal begins with mouth and ends with anus, and we have a special structure called Aristotle lantern that we'll discuss in echinoidea because that belongs to only echinoidea. Next, respiration. About the respiratory system, that ambulacral water vascular system is participating in the respiration also. When water enters inside, that oxygen will be collected over the respiratory system. Respiratory organs are there that we'll discuss in the classes. Every class is having their own speciality. Okay, so water enters in the ambulacral system through the madreporoid and comes out, enters into the ambulacral canal, and that water exits through ambulacral grooves on the arms, which makes the locomotion, capture, and respiration, a collection of oxygen. All these are possible by ambulacral water vascular. Why I'm saying again and again, finally it is going to be for the bigger question for us, like canal system of phylum Porifera here also. Okay, let's see the respiratory organs here. Class wise we have respiratory organs are unique in this organism. Let me make some names here. Dermal papillae on the skin, some small papillae get erased over. Dermal papillae we can say, or dermal branchiae we can say. Dermal papillae or dermal branchiae are present. Dermal papillae and dermal branchiae. Dermal nothing but skin. On the skin, that small bulgings are papillae, or we can say thin outgrowths of the body wall between the spines. And particularly talking about Holothuridea, cloacal respiratory trees are present. Holothuridea, that means the last class. Cloacal respiratory trees are very, very special of this particular phylum. The sea cucumbers, we say, that Holothuridea. Okay, next, circulatory system. Should talk about the circulatory system. Circulatory system. What about circulatory system? Open vascular system is present here. Circulatory system include open vascular system without heart and blood vessels. Open type without heart and blood vessels. Comparatively primitive than the previous ones. We see. So open type. Let me write. Open type of circulatory system. Next, no heart and no blood vessels. Without heart and blood vessels. Vessels. Okay. overlapping. Okay, no problem. So without heart and blood vessels, that we have to remember. Heart and blood vessels are absent. So respiratory organ, we say dermal papillae or dermal branchiae or cloacal respiratory trees, and circulatory system, as we said, the open type of circulatory system is present. Open type of circulatory system without heart and blood vessels. We can see next excretory system. Excretory system. Still, we need to increase the size. Excretory system. So about excretory system, the special excretory organs are absent here. Special excretory organs are absent. Then how the excretion is going to be? Excretion by simple diffusion. Excretion by simple diffusion. Special excretory organs are absent. Excretion is by simple diffusion. That to be remembered over. Okay, the nervous system. Nervous system. Actually, in the series, nervous system should be much developed, isn't it? As we are following, bilateral symmetry makes the organisms to develop that very centralized nervous system. We are seeing cockroach, arthropoda is more better than the annelida, earthworm. Likewise, that we have to expect more here. But bilateral symmetry was turned into the pentaradial symmetry. So how can you expect that highly developed nervous system, isn't it? So that's why we can say nervous system is poorly developed. Nervous system is poorly developed. Why? Because that these organisms, bilateral symmetry turned into that pentaradial symmetry. That was an adaptation to live in the marine water. Dorsoventrally or anterior-posteriorly compressed body makes them to be bilaterally symmetrical organisms will turn into the pentaradial. Then even sense organs are poorly developed. Brain we say absent. Brain is absent. And sense organs even poorly developed. So that's it. About the nervous system, sense organs are poorly developed, the brain is absent, and the nervous system, finally nervous system is poorly developed, we can say. Then next, reproductive system. Reproductive system. So I'll take another page here to show the reproductive system. That unisexual animals, we can see reproductive system, unisexual animals. Okay, these are unisexual animals. That what I mean, unisexual, that we can say dioecious. So do remember these words continuously. We are talking about from the beginning. We are saying that unisexual means dioecious, bisexual means monoecious. Likewise, you should remember these particular words. Unisexual or dioecious. We can say that these are unisexual animals are dioecious. Male female reproductive systems are separate in the separate animal, and fertilization is usually external fertilization. External fertilization can be seen over. Fertilization is external, and external fertilization. Development, that talking about the development is indirect. Development is indirect. That means larval forms. Every class have their own larval form. That pentacrinoid larva for the first one, crinoidea, that pentacrinoid, that bipinnaria, brachylaria, ophiofluteus, echinofluteus, auricularia. Class wise, we'll write all that particular larval forms. So that indirect development, we can say fertilization external and development is indirect with a free swimming bilaterally symmetrical larva. That's what we are saying from the beginning. Larva is having bilateral symmetry, bilaterally symmetrical larva. Doliolaria, that pentacrinoid, Astra, that bipinnaria, brachylaria, ophiofluteus, echinofluteus, auricularia, all that particular larva. As a common larval form, that means what we have to talk about a hypothetical larval form, a generalized larval form for all of them we'll write here. Then after individual larval forms will go in the class features. That dipleurula, we say. A hypothetical larval form, dipleurula. is considered as ancestor of all the echinoderms. Dichlorula larva is considered as ancestor of all the echinoderms. That next, the very important feature to be remembered in echinodermata, which they have a remarkable regeneration, that well-developed regeneration, which autotomy, autotomy and regeneration. What is autotomy? First of all, let us see what is autotomy. Auto means self, tomy means cutting, means a particular starfish is there and the predator is captured this particular arm. What it will do? It will cut that particular area. It will cut that arm and will go off. Okay, that what do you say? Autotomy, cutting. Auto means self. Self, it can cut their own body part and that can move on. Okay. Then, okay, what next? What next? After that, what do you say? That starfish, the 5 arms will become 4? No. Regeneration is very high. Remarkable regeneration is present. New arm will be developed over. That starfish developed the new arm. These are the general characters here. Let's take a look back again, the general characters before we go to the classification. Exclusively marine, then umbilical water vascular system is a unique feature of these for the locomotion, for the capture, and for the respiration, for the gaseous exchange. And that open type circulatory system without heart and blood vessel. Respiratory organs are going to be dermal papillae or dermal branchiae. In some cloacal respiratory trees are present. Excretion is by simple diffusion. Nervous system is poorly developed. Brain is absent. Sense organs are poorly developed. And the unisexual or dioecious with external fertilization. Fertilization occurs in the water. Development is indirect. That a hypothetical larva is Dichlorula is considered as ancestors of all the echinoderms, and bilaterally symmetrical larva we can see, and autotomy is a special feature, can cut their own arm when the enemy is attacked, and after that, that particular arm will be regenerated back again. Remarkable power of regeneration you can see here. Okay, now let's go through that particular general characteristic features we are completed, and now we'll go with the classification of phylum Echinodermata. Classification of phylum Echinodermata, that we have to go. Then before we go to the classification, let me write examples of each. Okay, examples. So we are here that the Crinoidea, the class Crinoidea, which it belongs to the subphylum Pelmatozoa. Subphylum Pelmatozoa, the one and only class. That means extant class. One and only extant class of the particular subphylum Pelmatozoa is this Crinoidea. So talking about the Crinoidea, let's talk with the characters, with examples of Crinoidea. Then subphylum Pelmatozoa. These are sessile. First of all, let me talk about the Pelmatozoa. Then after, we'll go with the class Crinoidea characteristic features. So sessile. Who are sessile? Pelmatozoa. Animals of Pelmatozoa are sessile. Okay. Then attached to the substratum, we can say sessile. So how they attach? Attached to the substratum with long stalk. They attach to the substratum with long stalk. That here, and some are free living. The long stalk, those attached with long stalk, what do you call sea lilies? We use it to say sea lilies. But some are free living. That who are free living? That feather stars are said to be free living. So that means here you have to remember that sea lilies and feather stars are present. Okay. So attached to the long substratum with the help of long stalk, that is sea lilies, and the free living are said to be feather stars. That free living, what I mean, free swimming, you should say. There is a difference in free swimming and free living. Free living means not parasite. Free swimming means, yeah, it can move. Like, for example, Hydra is not free swimming, but Hydra is free living. That's the difference you try to find out. So, okay, so we say feather stars, Antedon and Neometra. Where examples will go? First of all, let's see the characteristic features. So then, as I said to you, mouth, anus, madreporite, ambulacral grooves, tube feet, where suckers are not, these are matters here. That pedicellarium, in every class that is going to be matter. Okay. So Mouth, anus are present on the upper surface. That is another character here. Mouth and anus located on basic. I have shown already. Mouth and anus are present on upper surface. That's a special feature, that of Pelmatozoa, that mouth and anus are present on upper surface. What is upper surface? We said oral surface. Oral surface. Okay, so mouth and anus both are present. So whatever I said, that is not criteria for total phylum, as you see here in the diagram. So what I said to you, that particular asteroid, starfish features, as a general feature I explained to you. Okay, so in that way you have to remember, in that way. So everywhere I will say where mouth present, where anus present in every class. Then madreporite. I just shown the madreporite to you. See once again. Madreporite. Madreporite is absent here. In case of that subphylum Pelmatozoa, madreporite is absent. Okay. Next, ambulacral grooves. Ambulacral grooves are open or closed. You have to say all the way. Ambulacral grooves are open. As that Pelmatozoa feature, we have to say. Okay, that only one class is there in Pelmatozoa, that is class Crinoidea. Now let's talk about the Crinoidea. Whatever the features we said till the time, that also applicable for Crinoidea, isn't it? Because that only class present that Crinoidea belongs to only Pelmatozoa. Pelmatozoa include only one class. So let us start. This class, Crinoidea, this class include oldest and most primitive forms. Oldest and most primitive forms. That Crinoidea include oldest and most primitive form. Some are stalkless, we just talked about. Some are stalkless and free moving. Who is that? Feather stalks. Some are stalkless and free moving. And some are stalked and some are stalked. What is stalk here? I'll show you that sea lily. Sea lily, when you see a model not drawing the complete diagram here. Sea lily, just like a hypothetical diagram will go for. This is sea lily. Okay, so this particular sea lily, what he is saying, it is having a stalk. With the help of stalk, it attaches to the substratum. Okay, and again here with some more difference. Sea lily with stalk, with cirri, that is Ptilocrinus. Sea lily with stalk, without cirri, that is Bathycrinus. That much difference is not much required for us. Just we need to remember only that if with stalk, sea lilies, without stalk, feather stalk. So viscera is enclosed by a calcareous test called theca. The total body organs are enclosed by a calcareous test called theca. You can see. So viscera is enclosed by. So let me write only theca. Theca. So theca. What is theca? Viscera are enclosed by a calcareous test called theca. And arms are biramus. The word biramus, we already seen about this word. Biramus. What is bi? Two. Rami, which means branches. Rami, which means branches. So biramus, we use it to say. I will show you that generally 5 arms are present, isn't it? In the organism, 5 arms are present. So again, they are divided. Every arm is divided again. So how many can be expected over here? 10 then. So every arm is divided. So that Bairami, we can see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 arms we can see. So likewise, Bairamas. Arms are Bairamas. We'll write it. I'm writing brief here. Okay, so arms are Bairamas. Who are Bairamas? That also we should know, isn't it? So that's it. That oldest and most primitive form. Some are stalkless and free moving, and some are stalked. Okay. Next, that arms are biramus, we said, and where pinnules. The pinnules are present here. So let me draw that sea leaves that we can show you all that particular things. So these are biramas, and above on that we can see pinnules, small hooklet-like structures. We can say pinnules. Actually, spines are absent here. Instead of the spines, we'll have we say that pinnules are present. Pinnules which help in the food capture. So pinnules are present on the arms which are helpful for food capture. Okay, food capture. Next, 6. The foremost question it is that we have to take care of it. That what we have to talk about mouth and anus. That mouth and anus are present on the upper surface. We already wrote that particular feature there in that craniidea. Then madreporoid, spines, pedicellarium are absent. Madreporoid, spine, pedicellarium are absent. That to be remembered. Madreporoid, spines, and pedicellarium are absent. Ambulacral grooves open. Ambulacral grooves are open. So this is compulsory everywhere. We should say about pedicellarium that absent here. Pedicellarium absent. We said already that pedicellarium, madreporoid, spines, ambulacral grooves, tube feet with or without sucker. All these items are that again every class we have to see. Okay, so that some attaches to the substratum with the help of cirri. What we say, the stalk contain small hooklet-like structure cirri. The cirri are present, and development includes doliolaria larva. Every class have their own specific feature. Doliolaria larva. Development include doliolaria larva, which actually this larva develops into a stalked sessile pentacrinoid, particularly in feather stars, that develops into the pentacrinoid larva. Doliolaria larva develops into pentacrinoid, which pentacrinoid is having some evolutionary importance. So that's it about, let us write examples. I know it is completely confusing that what I'm here, but only thing here I'm trying to make the abbreviations. Any that when we find that what should write in that particular area, so we'll find easily here that not much complicated it will become. Let me complete the first of all the classes. Then after that I'll say how to remember this. How to remember this? Not much difficult here that, but first of all as a formality I have to go all that particular characters or not. So let me write examples here. Telocrinus, which is said to be coelily with cirri. Telocrinus is coelily with cirri. That means on the stalk. Stalk is as usual present. Coelily with stalk with cirri, because all coeles are having stalk. Okay, that is Telocrinus. And Bathycrinus. Bathycrinus is another example here. Bathycrinus, it is also coelily. It is also coelily with stalk without cirri. Coelily with stalk without cirri. Next, that feather stars are present here. Feather stars. Antedon and Neometra are said to be feather stars. Antedon and Neometra. Neometra is enough for us. Neometra is called feather star. So finally, the three examples we have, that Telocrinus, Bathycrinus, and Neometra. Telocrinus, Bathycrinus are called sea lilies, and Neometra is said to be feather stars. Okay, then Asteroidea. Asteroidea. So as I said to you, that we discussed about the starfish itself, isn't it? Asteroidea. The subphylum Eleutherozova is having Asteroidea. So before that, we need to see here the characteristic features of Eleutherozova. Let me start Eleutherozova. Subphylum Eleutherozova. Subphylum Eleutherozova, which include that classes, 4 classes: Asteroidea, Ophiroidea, Echinoidea, and Holothuriidea. Then as a general characteristics of Eleutherozova we'll discuss first, then after we'll go with class wise. So subphylum Eleutherojova include free moving, stalked or gone. Earlier we are saying free moving, which do not have stalk, no stalk in these organisms. There is no stalk in these organisms. So mouth is on oral surface. Mouth is oral surface and directed. Mouth is oral surface is directed downwards. The oral surface is directed downwards. What is this downward? You just imagine these organisms are living in marine water, isn't it? So that mouth is looking the bottom of the sea. If you remember, that will be easy for you. Mouth is downwards. Okay. Automatically anus will be upward, isn't it? That look the sky. Okay, just for understanding, I am saying. Madreporite is present. Madreporite is present in all. Madreporite is present. And ambulacral grooves are closed. Ambulacral grooves closed, except asteroidea. Ambulacral grooves are closed. Ophiuroidea, echinoidea, and holothuriidea, ambulacral grooves are closed, except asteroidea will write. Okay, asteroidea, ambulacral grooves are closed. So let me reduce the size of this. Then it will facilitate us to go for the first class, asteroidea. For asteroidea, no need to pay any effort because the starfish, which I am explaining from the beginning, that is belongs to that asteroidea only. So that means we have to complete first of all our set features. That means from here onwards, I'll make you the linear order. That we need to say mouth, we need to say about anus, we need to say about madreporite, then ambulacral grooves. Any class, all the coming 4 classes, we have to say the same. Ambulacral grooves, next 5. That ambulacral grooves are open or closed, we have to say. The tube feet with suckers or without suckers, we have to say. Likewise, indirect development, their larval form we have to say. That for all, a larval form we have to discuss. Next about pedicellarium. Okay, instead of learning the characters of each and every class, first of all, we should learn this. Okay, first of all, we should learn this. This is very important for us. Okay, so the mouth, anus, madreporite. For this, if you answer, the leftover characters we can remember easily. Okay, leftover characters we can remember easily. Okay, so is it possible to copy here in all? Okay. Let's write it. No matter. Mouth. The mouth is there on oral surface. That is in asteroidea. As whatever we said about the starfishes. That first of all, let us write here. Let us remember these are starfishes. Starfishes. So whatever the features I explained here, that all belongs to here itself. With the diagram I said. So mouth is at oral surface. That is looking the bottom. That's what we have to remember now. Mouth is looking directed downwards. Oral surface contain mouth that is directed downwards. Okay. Next, anus. Anus is an upward aboral surface. Madreporite on aboral surface. Let me show you the diagram. Madreporite on aboral surface. And next, tube feet. Tube feet bear suckers. Tube feet bear suckers. The tube feet bear suckers. Ambulacral grooves are open and tube feet bear sucker. The larval forms are said to be bipinnaria and brachylaria. Larval forms are called bipinnaria and brachylaria. Okay, so besides this, we have to see some more characters like that arms are not clearly demarcated. Arms are not clearly demarcated. The arms here are not clearly demarcated in this particular, from the central disc of the body, the arms are not clearly demarcated from the central disc of the body. So I request all of you to take the screenshot of the 7 points, that to find out in all the coming classes, Asteroidea, Ophiuroidea, Echinoidea, and Holothuriidea. About pedicellarium. Pedicellarium is two-jawed pedicellarium is present here. And about larval form, we have to say bipinnaria and brachyolaria. Larval form is bipinnaria and brachyolaria. Bipinnaria and brachyolaria. Next, tube feed. Tube feed, what we have to say? Tube feed bear suckers. Tube feed bear suckers. Ambulacral grooves are open. Madreporide, aboral surface. Madreporide is there on aboral surface. Then anus. Anus is also on aboral surface. Next, mouth. Mouth is on oral surface. Mouth is on oral surface. That's it. Then besides this, we need to go with the respiratory organs, which are special here. The respiratory organs are papillae or dermal branchiae. Respiratory organs are papillae or dermal branchiae are the respiratory organs. Okay. Then the larval forms, as I said to you, bipinnaria and brachyolaria larva. Examples include Asteria. We are talking about that starfish from the beginning. Excuse me. Let's talk about the examples. Asterias. Asterias and Astropecten. Next, Pentacirrus. Asterias, Astropecten and Pentacirrus. Okay, these are the examples. Now let's go to the next class, Ophiroidea. As it's a formality now for us again, we should say everything: mouth, anus, that how the mouth is there. That next, what about the anus? Next, madreporide. Present or absent, we have to say. Madreporide. Ambulacral grooves, open or close, we need to say. Ambulacral grooves. Next, tube feed, with suckers or without suckers, we need to see. Tube feed with sucker or without sucker. Next, pedicellarium, present or absent, we need to see. Then pedicellarium is present or absent. Next, larval forms. We should talk about larval form. Then arms is also one of the criteria here that let's come. Commonly called as it include that Ophiroidea include brittle stars. Ophiroidea include brittle stars, serpent stars, serpent stars, basket stars. Here all stars are present here. Brittle star, serpent star, basket stars are present here. Commonly these animals are called. Now we need to say about the arms. Arms are long. That arms are long and clearly demarcated. Arms are long and clearly demarcated, that from the central disc, which as we said in case of starfishes, not clearly demarcated. So we say here, arms are long and clearly demarcated from the central disc, of the body. From the central disc of the body. And some more special features, arms are flexible, fragile. This is the question actually in previous examinations you'll find. Flexible, fragile, and branch. Arms are flexible, fragile, and branch. Branched and not in all, in some. Like Garganocephalus, basket star, we use it to see. In case of Garganocephalus, that we'll find this particular feature, that branched arms. That means 10 becomes, when it is branched, 5 becomes 10, isn't it? Okay, so they move by serpentine lashing movements. The arms show serpentine lashing movements. Arms show serpentine, and that means snake-like. That serpentine lashing movements. Arms show serpentine lashing movements. Next, the remaining mouth, the anus, that we have to discuss here. That madreporide is an oral surface. Mouth is an oral surface. Okay, so mouth is an oral surface. Anus is absent here. Anus is absent. and madreporite is along the side of the mouth. That means on oral surface. Ambulacral grooves. From here onwards, you have to say closed. Ambulacral grooves are closed. Tube feet. Tube feet do not bear suckers. Tube feet do not bear suckers. Okay, then pedicellarium. Pedicellarium are absent. Larval forms. Larval form are said to be Ophiopluteus larva. Larval form is Ophiopluteus larva. That's it. So finally, we'll go with examples here. Examples of Ophiuridia, Ophiothrix, brittle star we say. Examples, Ophiothrix, brittle star, spiny brittle star, which is commonly called spiny brittle star. Ophiothrix or spiny brittle star. Next, Ophiothrix, which is commonly called spiny brittle star. Garganocephalus, as we wrote on the top. Garganocephalus. This is called basket star. Garganocephalus is said to be basket star. So that's it. Ophiuridia. Mouth, oral surface, anus is absent, madreporite, oral surface, ambulacral grooves are closed, tube feet do not bear sucker, pedicellarium is absent, larval forms are Ophiopluteus larva. And about the arms, arms are long and clearly demarcated from the central disc of the body. Arms are flexible, fragile, and branched. That in the branched in case of Garganocephalus, basket star. Arms show serpentine lashing movements. Next, that echinoidea. We'll go with. Before I go, I'll write here the same again. That means what to be maintained in all. That is, we have to write mouth. Next is anus, madreporite. That means in every class, but their positions need to say over. So that's what I'm saying. If you learn this in all the classes as a table, that remaining will become easy for us. Pedicellarium, mouth, anus, madreporite, pedicellarium, ambulacral grooves, a tube feet with suckers or without suckers, that we have to say tube feet, and the larval form. Larval form. Okay, so that let us fill this form. If you fill this form, 90% is over. That's what I'm saying from the beginning. So class Echinoidea. This class include sea urchins. This class include sea urchins. Animals are commonly called sea urchins. Echinoidea. Such as heart urchin, sand dollar, sea biscuits, cake urchin. Likewise, you'll find here sand dollars. Sand dollars, sea biscuits. That by the shape you used to say like that. Cake urchin, sand dollar, sea biscuits. That cake urchins and heart urchin. By the shape we are saying. All are commonly called sea urchins, but individually we say some are sand dollars, some are sea biscuits, some are cake urchins, some are heart urchins. Likewise. Okay, the body is ovoid body. Features I am writing here. Ovoid body. Okay, so it's just simply look like this. Sea urchin. Dollar. What is the dollar? Is like unchained whatever the dollars we add. So that kind of dollar. So ovoid body. Okay, so the diagram is there in front of you. I'm not drawing the full picture, just showing the feature. So that body is ovoid. In whom it is ovoid? Ovoid body we can see in sea urchins. Sea urchins are having ovoid body. Discoid body in sand dollars. Sand dollars are having discoid body, and which is covered with movable spines. Okay, body is ovoid or discoid, that which is covered with spines. Arms are absent. Arms are absent. Should be remembered. Arms are absent. I didn't draw any arm on the diagram. See there. The arms are absent. Tube feet. Onwards, we'll start here. That we'll go with that character. So yeah, whatever we have. Calcareous ossicles of the body unite to form a rigid test or corona or case. What I said in case of general character that are belongs to here. Test or corona or case. All the ossicles, which are the base of spines, are fused and form test or corona or case. Okay. Next, that about the very important feature here that the sea urchin, particularly in the sea urchin, a complex ring-like structure. Sea urchin is having a complex five-jawed ringed structure, five-jawed masticatory apparatus, very important. Five-jawed masticatory apparatus is present, that we say the five-jawed masticatory apparatus we call nathochilerium. We said it as, sorry, nathochilerium belongs to Diplopoda now here. So that means instead of saying along with nathochilerium, this is also very important. Aristotle lantern, that class Diplopoda, phylum Arthropoda is having nathochilerium, and crystalline style of Pelcipoda, Rodula of all the phylum Mollusca except Pelcipoda, Aristotle lantern of the sea urchin of Echinodermata, which belongs to class Echinoidea. These are all very famous and important here. But the same structure is absent in heart urchins. This is absent in heart urchins. Okay, so that sea urchins are having this, but in heart urchins that is absent. Aristotle lantern. Absent in heart urchins, but sea urchins are having this five-jawed ringed structure. We can say the five-jawed ringed structure is present. Next, let us fill here. The mouth is on oral surface. Mouth is on oral surface. Anus, aboral surface, like normal thing. Aboral surface. Madreporite on aboral surface. Next, pedicellarium. Pedicellarium is special here. Pedicellarium is three-jawed pedicellarium is present like this. Three-jawed pedicellarium. Three-jawed pedicellarium, you can say. Next, ambulacral grooves are closed. Ambulacral grooves are closed. Few feet bear suckers. Few feet bear suckers. Larval form. That already on the name of that larva class. Echinopluteus. We need to say Echinopluteus is the larva. So that's it about the characters of Echinoidea. And then let's go to the Holothroidea. Holothroidea. Okay, where is that Holothroidea? Well, we'll make it separate column. Holothroidea. Very important class in examination point of view, in board examination point of view. That very important class, Holothroidea. The sea cucumbers we see. These are animals, cucumber-like shape. So that's why sea cucumbers, the commonly called holothroidans are commonly called sea cucumbers. Okay, wait a minute. We didn't wrote examples in the earlier class in Echinoidea, isn't it? Examples we have to write. Where is that? Yeah, here it is. Examples. Let me write examples of Echinoidea. Then after we'll go with that class features of Holothroidea. That examples. Examples, Echinus. Echinus, which is commonly called sea urchin. Echinus, sea urchin. Okay. Next, Echinocardium. Echinocardium. Heart urchin, which is commonly called. Echinocardium is said to be heart urchin. Here only we said there is no Aristotle length that in them. Echinocardium, heart urchin, we can say. Next, that Echinocardium and Echinodiscus, sand dollar. Echinodiscus, sand dollar, commonly called sand dollar. Sand dollar. Okay. Next, finally, Clypeaster. Clypeaster, I am writing where we write. Here we write. Clypeaster look like this diagram like me. Then Clypeaster. So Clypeaster is commonly called cake urchin. Clypeaster is called cake urchin. So that's it. Clypeaster, K culture. These are all examples of echinoidea. Next, let's go to the holothroidea. Holothroidea, which we commonly call them as sea cucumbers. Holothroidea, sea cucumber. Body is elongated. Let me show you the first the body. Then after we'll write all the special features of this particular holothroidea. That body is cucumber shape. That's why we say the sea cucumber. Elongated body. Elongated body. And the oroeboral axis. This is the oroeboral axis. Elongated body in the oroeboral axis. Actually, it is having regaining bilateral symmetry again. So that's the speciality of this. Body wall is leathery, coriaceous skin, we can say. Leathery body wall, coriaceous skin. Leathery, let me write in bracket, leathery, coriaceous or leathery skin is present. And dermis contain, that will below that, dermis contain loosely arranged spicules are present there. That spines are absent here. Spicules are present. Loosely arranged spicules are present in the dermis. Okay, the spicules of the speciality of these animals. Dermis contains spicules. Arms, spines, pedicellarium are absent. Arms we can't see here. In the diagram, spines are also absent. Pedicellarium are absent. Next, mouth is surrounded by. Mouth is surrounded by. Yes. Okay, the mouth is surrounded by retractile tentacles. Here it is the mouth, and that is surrounded by retractile tentacles that are modified tube feet, useful for feeding. These tentacles are said to be modified tube feet, which are useful for the feeding. Let me write here. Modified tentacles, which are useful for feeding. Modified tube feet. Tentacles are the modified tube feet. Okay, so for what it is? It is for feeding. That we need to remember. Modified tube feet. The tentacles is around the mouth are modified tube feet, which are useful for feeding. Ambulacral grooves are closed. You can't see ambulacral grooves. So ambulacral grooves are closed. Where will write? Here we write. Ambulacral grooves. Let me change the color. Yeah, ambulacral grooves are closed. That same mouth is anterior, anus is posterior. Mouth is anterior, anus is posterior. That madreporite is internal in position. Madreporite is there internal in position. Ambulacral grooves are closed. Tube feet are with suckers. Tube feet where suckers. Tube feet are there suckers, and some tube feet modified into tentacles, which are helpful for the feeding. So here I just prefer the diagram here. With the diagram, with the hypothetical diagram, I'm trying to explain everything here. And finally, the cloacal respiratory organ. This is the cloaca. From the cloaca, the respiratory organs which look like branching trees. The cloacal respiratory branching tree-like structures are present for respiration. Cloacal respiratory trees, we can say. And finally, they have a larval form we call auricularia larva. Auricularia larva. Holothroidea, ambulacral grooves are closed. That tube feet modified into tentacles. The tube feet are modified into tentacles. It surrounds the mouth and helpful for the feeding. Elongated body, madreporite is internal in position, coriaceous skin, and dermis contains spicules. Then arms, spines, pedicellarium. Arms, spines, pedicellarium are absent. Arms, spines, and pedicellarium are absent. So that you have to remember. The very, very important here that this holothroidea. Holothroidea is very important. So that A stands for arms. A stands for arms. S stands for spines. Okay, next that P stands for pedicellarium. Arms, spines, pedicellarium are absent. We are talking about. Okay, so that's it. Examples of this particular class. Examples. We should write. We'll write here. Holothria, Hucumeria, Synapta. Examples of Holothria, Hucumeria, Synapta, Thione. Holothria, Synapta. Synapta similis is the brackish water. All are marine. This is the only example that Echinodermata, which is going to be in the brackish water. Thione. That brackish water, what it means? That where fresh and marine water is going to combine. That area we say brackish water. Synapta is the exception. All the echinoderms are exclusively marine. So that's it about that Holothuridia, which we say sea cucumbers, which we commonly call as sea cucumbers. So that's it. The general characters and classification of Echinodermata and